Hello, everybody. Welcome to Building a Fall Course Schedule for the School of Engineering major session. This is presented by the Bobcat Advising Center. All right, so let's get started. Okay, on the agenda for today, we're going to talk about the Bobcat Advising Center, which is your hub for first-year student advising, the School of Engineering, majors and information, general policies, registration tips, and then we'll go into reminders and conclusion. Okay, the Bobcat Advising Center is your home for advising for all first-year students, freshman admits in every major. We advise all lower division undeclared transfers also, and all continuing undeclared students in any class. We promote student success through academic advising appointments, walk-in advising, workshops, and also by connecting you to appropriate resources. For example, we can refer you to career services, counseling services, tutoring. If you want to get involved in sports or student organizations, we can be a really good resource for you to connect you with the campus to help you find your own definition of success. So basically, we're here to support your educational journey as you work towards your personal, academic, and career goals. Okay, so let's go into the School of Engineering majors and information. And by the way, you're going to see a lot of acronyms today, such as SOE. And when I say SOE, that's the School of Engineering. You'll get familiar with that as you get comfortable with UC Merced, a lot of acronyms. So the School of Engineering, SOE majors, there are 5 majors without emphases. The majors in red are new as of fall 2026, and then there are majors with emphases. And with these, you can choose, for example, with bioengineering, BioE, you can emphasize biomedical instrumentation, biotechnology, or pre-medical. And you would choose one of those emphases, or you could choose without an emphasis. But you must choose an emphasis for the missed major. But other than that, the other ones come with emphases or without emphases. And again, in red are the brand new majors. Changing your major for first year and undeclared, there's a QR code right here. Want to go ahead and scan that, or visit admitted students' next steps page to change your major. All students are allowed to submit one major change during the summer by following step 8 on the admitted student next steps page. After that, you'll be required to meet with your BAC Academic Advisor if you wish to submit a second major change. Okay, the SOE normal progress policy. What is normal progress? Well, it's what you need to do to be able to graduate in 4 years. So basically, you want to get average 15 units a semester. SOE students should take a minimum of 12, and that's all students. The minimum is 12. But to maintain 30 per year and get towards your 120, approximately 120 credits in 4 years, you want to average 14 to 16 per semester. So it's around 15 on average. The maximum units you can take in a semester is 18 in your very first semester. We don't recommend that in most cases. We recommend 14 to 16, so you can hit that 30 every year. 2 courses should always be major prep. Basically, one of the most important things for engineering majors is to get your math underway immediately, and required science courses, such as physics, chemistry, if required. And then your engineering or major-specific technical requirement should always be on your schedule every semester. Okay, the SOE introductory courses. A handful of SOE majors require a 1-unit introductory course listed as a 001. So when you're looking at our courses, you're going to notice they all have triple digits, and that's when you search for a course, you've got to put all 3 digits in. Anything from 001 to 099 is considered a lower division course. And then the 001, which most disciplines have in the sciences, engineering, and in the social sciences, arts, and humanities, those are the introductory courses. Typically required in your first semester of your first year. You can refer to the catalog for details on when to take courses in your major. Okay, let's go into general policies. Okay, the UC Merced placement exams. All SOE majors should take math and writing placement exams. Only CSE majors, computer science, engineering, should take the CSE placement exam. Now, most SOE majors should plan to take chemistry placement exam. The exceptions are CSE, DSA, Data Science Analytics, and MIST. management, innovation, sustainability, technology majors. SOE faculty recommend to register for Writing 010. Now, eligibility to register in Writing 010 is based on your writing placement score. If you are interested in any health career, you should also take both math and chemistry placement exams. If you want to go into pre-med, for example, you will need 2 full years of chemistry. In the first year, you'll be taking general chemistry, which is 2 semesters. And then in the second year, you'll be taking organic chemistry, which is another 2 semesters. Additionally, pre-med students will need a year of physics, a year of biology at the minimum. And so those are things to keep in mind. Your engineering major may not require chemistry, but if you are wanting to go into pre-med or pre-health, you will likely need chemistry right from the beginning. Okay, common course information. We're going to focus on the far left column right now, biology, chemistry, and physics courses. All of these, bio, chem, and physics, may have a separate lab. You must search for the lab section separately. So once you search for the bio course and you'll add the lecture and discussion, which is 2 components, you will additionally need to search for bio with an L and then search for a lab that fits your schedule. So you will need 3 components for biology. Again, you need to search for the lab separately. For chemistry, 3 components. For physics, you'll need 4 components. When you search for physics, you'll need to select the lecture and discussion, which is 2 components. And then when you search for the physics lab by putting in PHYSL for lab, you'll then need to select the lab and discussion for the lab. It can be a little tricky, but you will not be able to submit your courses if you don't have all components simultaneously. Physics requires you to be enrolled in a math first. So another thing to be aware of. You can always check the prerequisites when you're looking at a course. And just to make sure if you're having registration errors, that's one of the first things you should check. In the center, writing courses. Writing 001 satisfies the UC entry-level writing requirement, ELWR. It must be completed by spring 27, which is your second semester if you're starting in the fall, if needed as a prerequisite to Writing 010, which engineering recommends beginning with. Now, you may be able to pass out of Writing 001 with an appropriate AP score or dual enrollment. So make sure to speak to us about that. But all students do need to satisfy the Writing 001, regardless of whether or not you have the Writing 010 satisfied. Writing 010 must be completed again, just to repeat whether you take Writing 001 or not. Okay, on the math, on the very far right, math placement exam is required to take a math course. You may be placed into Math 005, which is a preparatory calculus that's required to take before you take Calculus 1, which is either Math 011 or Math 021. So this is where it can get a little tricky for majors in the engineering and in the sciences, is that there are 2 Calculus 1 courses, Math 011 or Math 021. Please make sure you take the correct course for your major. All engineering majors will need Math 021. If you are undeclared and you're thinking about a science major, you may be required to take Math 011. So just, you really need to know which is the correct course, especially if you drop a course. Always check with your advisor and let your advisor know that you've changed your schedule so we can make sure that you've added the correct course if you do end up dropping a course that is on your schedule. And again, Math 005 may be required, and that's pre-calculus if you place into that before getting into Calc 1, which is Math 11 or 21. Okay, Math 008 is for non-STEM majors. Please do not take this course if you are a STEM major or an engineer. Math 011 is for bio and non-engineering majors. So again, the difference between Math 011 and 021 is your major. They're both Calculus 1, but you need to make sure you take the correct Calculus 1 for your major. Math 021 is for physical science and engineering majors.
Alrighty, I'll be transitioning over for the remainder of the presentation. Thank you, Anil. So for those of you who are able to register for new student orientation by June 3rd, this means that you are eligible for Smart Start. Smart Start is a new process that is being done by the registrar's office in which you will be registered in at least 12 units, if not your full 18 units of required courses in your first semester, depending on your major. There may be opportunities for you to add additional courses if you're only registered in the minimum 12 units in terms of general education or elective options that you'll be able to select in order for you to hit that 12 units, right? Because sometimes you might not be registered full time. If that happens, we do encourage you to connect with your BAC Academic Advisor. Over the summer, we will be offering Zoom walk-ins so that you have the support that you need to make those adjustments. While being part of Smart Start, you'll be registered into courses. It does allow you to adjust those courses as needed during your assigned registration time. Do keep in mind that it's important that even though you'll be able to adjust the courses, we encourage you not to adjust them because everything that you're going to be registered in is important for your major declaration pathway. And so for our students who did not take part in Smart Start, that's okay. You'll still be able to register for courses during your assigned registration date and time during registration week. It just means that you will manually have to be the one registering for courses. We have helpful videos in our BAC Things to Know mini-series that will help guide you through registration if you need that support. But again, we encourage you to start taking advantage of those Zoom walk-in hours that we're having currently in our office. And so a couple of things that we want to highlight in terms of coursework, right? There are typically usually 3 types of courses that you could take. We'll go ahead and start with our first option at the top. So usually major requirements are courses that are specific to your major. They are courses that are going to be aligned to the major declaration pathway that you've selected. So for example, if you're looking at computer science, you'll be taking courses in computer science. If you are in MIST, you would be taking coursework that is under the MIST category. But in addition to those, we also have our general education coursework, which are courses at UC Merced that are meant to provide you with an opportunity to learn other perspectives outside of engineering, right? These are required. We do have different categories of general education, so we encourage you to explore those when you're able to fit those in, right? Because again, for School of Engineering, it's important that you prioritize your major courses first. And then our third type of coursework are electives. So electives are literally any course that you are interested in taking, so long as you meet prerequisite options for the course, but they don't necessarily fall under major or general education categories. So typically, when you say, or when you hear, I'm a student who's going to be taking this course as an elective, it is a course that does not fall under our major or GE category. It is truly something that you have an interest in exploring. The good news is that regardless of the type of coursework that it is, all of these classes will be counting towards your degree. A couple of ideas for you to consider in terms of possible electives are falling into 2 of these headings, right? So for students who might be interested in adding a minor, they typically require about 20 to 30 additional units. You can complete a minor in any school, however, do be aware that there are some minors that are not allowed with specific majors because there's too much potential overlap. Minors can be declared in the first semester or later. However, we do ask that you declare before you hit 90 units or senior standing, just because, again, once you hit senior standing, usually with the number of units that you would need to add a minor, a year is not enough to map out completion of that minor. If you're an undeclared student hoping to add a minor to your pathway, you do have to be aware that you can only declare a minor once your major is officially declared. So again, minors are optional. Nothing has to ever be taken towards a minor, but it could be a great opportunity for you to explore an additional area of study without necessarily committing to the full double major, right? Which brings us to the double major option. So while this is also an optional feature for you to explore, it does require faculty approval. You cannot officially declare a double major until you hit your second year or until your third semester, which would be fall of next year. The good news is that you could start taking the classes though in the first year. But again, similar to a minor, you should be declared in that double major before you hit 90 units. Do be aware that there are some major combinations that are not allowed because they are too similar in nature. The best example in engineering, of course, is your aerospace engineering with your mechanical engineering. So this would be a combination that would not be permitted simply because there's too much overlap in the coursework that exists. Do be aware that with the double major, it may require 60 or more additional units to earn the degree. While there could be some sharing between courses, those have limits due to policy. So again, being mindful of the double major that you're picking and making sure that you have enough time to finish both in the normal progress pathway that you're considering, which is typically the 4 years. We'll be moving forward with some registration tips. And so again, to really reiterate what Anil shared in the earlier half of the presentation, if you are pursuing a School of Engineering pathway, you must prioritize major courses. Spark 10 tends to be the priority for most School of Engineering students, especially in fall. While you could consider taking a Spark 1, we encourage a Spark 10 over the Spark 1 because Spark 10 tends to be 2 units, whereas Spark 1 tends to be 4 units. So when you're really thinking about balancing your schedule, it might be preferable to you to take a 2-unit Spark over a 4-unit Spark on top of taking like a math and an engineering course in your first term. Again, math is critical to School of Engineering majors, so we encourage you to really take advantage of on-campus resources like tutoring, connecting with your peers in order to form study groups. Math is critical for School of Engineering. So again, make sure that you have a support system in place for that math. Chem and physics, so chemistry and physics are also critical for many School of Engineering majors, again, with the exception of the few that don't have chemistry as a priority. But we do also encourage you to take advantage of that STEM tutoring hub on campus in order to get that tutoring support. And so for this section of the presentation, we will be going over major registration tips so that you get a sense of what a schedule could potentially look like depending on the major that you see here. We do want to emphasize that these tips are not a replacement for meeting with your BAC Academic Advisor. We do still encourage you to connect with us via Zoom walk-in hours. At the end of the presentation, there will be a recording with all of these major registration tips highlighted for the major of interest that you are hoping to explore more on. And again, this is really helpful for those of you who might not be considering Smart Start or who weren't able to register for Smart Start. And so for the sake of the presentation, we'll go ahead and go through 2. So we'll go ahead and go with our electrical engineering as our first option. So for electrical engineering, what you might find yourself having to register for or being registered in if you're part of Smart Start for your priority courses will be a Math 21, a Chemistry 2, a Physics 8 and Physics 8 lab. They must be taken at the same time or after the completion of Math 21. So Physics 8 and Physics 8L have a co-requisite with Math 21. So if you're bringing in credit for Math 21, you should be able to register for Physics 8 and 8L. Otherwise, it's important that you have Math 21 registered in your schedule before you attempt to add Physics 8 and 8L. You'll have a Spark 10, and you must take EE1, which is that introductory 1-unit seminar course. Something to note is that for electrical engineering, You do not need a Chem 2 lab. You only need to register for the Chem 2 lecture and discussion. If for whatever reason, right, let's say that we do not place directly into the Math 21, which is Calculus 1, or the Chemistry 2, which is General Chemistry 1, you should consider these other options, such as the Math 5, which is the pre-calc, which is the prereq to get into Math 21, Chemistry 1, which is the preparatory chem needed to get into General Chemistry 1, which is our Chem 2. Again, depending on your placement exam for the writing, you may opt to register for the writing 1 or the writing 10, depending on your placement. And for your computing requirement, you may pick from one out of the 3 options outlined here. For your general education requirements, again, if there are time conflicts, if you're not able to get into your priority coursework, you can also opt for General Education Area A life science option, or General Education Area B, a social science option. Remember, you may be bringing in credit that may satisfy a number of these courses. So again, depending on the credit that you're bringing in, whether that's AP, dual enrollment, IB, or community college coursework, right? You may benefit from talking to your academic advisor to discuss how that's going to impact your registration. So again, please return and check out our Zoom walk-in hours so that you're able to register. For more information on coursework that's maybe beyond this, maybe you're bringing in a lot of credit that requires courses outside of these tips, we encourage you to explore the catalog, which that link can be found down below with catalog.ucmerced.edu. Our other option that we're going to take a look at today is going to be our MIST, which is our Management of Innovation, Sustainability, and Technology. So for Management of Innovation, Sustainability, and Technology, some of the priority courses you'll see will be a little bit different compared to your traditional School of Engineering pathway. You'll have a math requirement. In this case, you may opt from a Math 5, a Math 11, or Math 21. Again, the 11 and the 21 are dependent on your placement, but a Math 5 is sufficient enough, which is our pre-calc, to satisfy the math requirement for this pathway. A Spark 10 or Spark 1, similarly to as what I said before, while a Spark 10 is recommended to give you a little bit more flexibility, in this case, if you're seeking to maximize units, it might be better to opt for the Spark 1. A MIST 60 or DSA Data Science Analytics 1 course is an option for you to select. And then you must take the MIST 1 course, which should be 4 units. This is one of the few introductory courses that varies from the traditional 1 unit assignment to the course, right? So this MIST 1 is actually 4 units. With MIST, we encourage you to consider adding a minor or a double major because by itself alone, you will not be able to hit the 120 units that you need to earn the degree. Similarly, as your other course options, a lot more flexibility. You could choose to add a writing 1 or writing 10, depending on placement. Again, we urge you to register for the writing 10 if you can. Otherwise, writing 1 is priority by the end of spring. You can choose any general education areas, whether that's Area A, life or physical science, and then your general education Area B. So your literary and textual analysis, a media visual analysis, or a societies and culture of the past. And of course, any free elective or any remaining general education courses that you may need. Similarly, as before, coursework that you're bringing in may impact these priority courses or these other course options. So connect with your BAC advisor to discuss your particular pathway in depth. And of course, more information can be found in the UC Merced's catalog, which the link is posted below. With that, we want to prioritize a couple of important reminders. Again, please check out this BAC Things to Know mini video series. It's going to have a lot of helpful information, including how placement exams work, how to navigate the registration system. Please scan that QR code so that you are linked to that and are prepared for when your registration time opens. We encourage you to check your email daily for updates and important information from UC Merced. If you haven't already, we encourage you to learn how to filter your inbox so that you can prioritize all your academic advisor emails into a folder so that whenever we send you information, you're able to access it, locate it quickly. We encourage you to register at your assigned time ticket for the best chance of getting into the coursework that you need. And again, we're available over the summer for any needs that you may have or any questions or concerns that you may have. So please connect with your BAC Academic Advisor as we're available over the summer to help you out for any questions or concerns that you may have. The best way to connect with us is through our information that you see posted here down below. We have a main website with a lot of helpful information that we encourage you to explore, especially if you're a new admit. We're open Mondays through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This picture really is where our front desk is. We're located behind the Lantern Cafe. If you get to this check-in desk, this is the best way to connect with us. If you go beyond this desk, you will be redirected back to the front desk. So please make sure that you're checking in at the front when you try to connect with us. We are on social media. You could see YouTube QR code there, as well as our Instagram. Again, really helpful videos to help you navigate registration on our YouTube. Our Instagram, you'll be able to find helpful reposts of videos of on-campus events or any workshops that we're going to be offering. So again, we encourage you to follow us at the social media channels at your leisure. But of course, if you're going to be contacting us via email, we encourage you to use your UC Merced email to get in contact with us. And so you could email the general email website there, which is bac@ucmerced.edu. But more than likely, if you want to connect with your BAC Academic Advisor one-on-one or directly, please email us at our UC Merced email, which we'll send you in our welcome email. With that, we want to thank you for joining us for our School of Engineering Just-in-Time registration presentation. Again, we hope that you take away a lot of helpful information for today, but also to connect with your BAC Academic Advisor if you have any questions that may come up. With that, thank you for joining us.
Woke up late feeling lost again. Got a textbook open but I can't pretend. My friends are out there living life so free while I'm stuck here just trying to find me. Then I remember the door's always wide to the Bobcat Advising Center when they're on my side. BAC got your back, come on take a chance. Gonna find my path, gonna join the dance. With a smile and a plan, they lift me up high. At the Bobcat Advising Center, I can touch the sky. Last semester was a wild ride. Had a meltdown over stats, wanted to hide. But in walked the advisors with their calm, sweet ways. They broke it all down, turned my fog into rays. We napped my classes, made a game plan right. With every step forward, I felt so alive.